It's been a little bit. What is going on, everybody? So, back again with another video. A lot has happened since my last upload, and that's mainly what I'm here to talk about today. But before I get into that, I just want to make a quick disclaimer. The audio is going to sound really weird. You know, I'm in an area where there's a big echo, but look, the show must go on. I gotta upload. I gotta do something. So that's just what we're gonna do. And also, guys, I wanted to thank you guys so much for the overwhelming support. You know, I started uploading shorts, and the impressions on those have been crazy. And also, I said I wanted to hit 200 subscribers before the end of the year. It's looking like we might hit that before the end of the month. Like, it's insane. Again, thank you guys so much for everything, and with all the sentimental stuff out the way, let's just get into the video. So, Donovan Mitchell got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, that's still crazy to say to me, man. The Cleveland Cavaliers, my Cleveland Cavaliers, made a move to acquire a perennial all-star, one of the best players in the league. But how did this happen? What led up to all of this going down? Well, as we all know, for the majority of the Donovan Mitchell fiasco, it seemed like the New York Knicks were the frontrunners. They had the assets. Donovan Mitchell has New York ties, and they had just made a move to acquire a lead guard in Jalen Brunson. Everything made sense from that standpoint, and the Jazz even stated that they'd accept a trade that didn't involve RJ Barrett. Like, I'm not understanding how the Knicks screwed this up. Either way though, the Knicks decided to extend RJ Barrett, which kind of complicated things, but in the end, a deal was still possible. Then a rumor started to come to fruition that the Cavaliers were interested in Donovan Mitchell. Now, myself and a lot of other people thought this rumor was just noise. It was just a tactic that the Jazz wanted to use to gain leverage for the Knicks, to make the Knicks more aggressive. And as we all know, that just wasn't the case. A week later, a deal was done. The Cleveland Cavaliers traded Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, 3 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps for Donovan Mitchell. A team that has a consensus top 5, top 4 young core just acquired a 26 point per game guy entering the prime of his career. And as you can expect, the reaction to that was quite positive. The Cleveland Cavaliers were decimated with injuries last year, and yet they were still able to find a way to win. And with those injuries came a less than ideal offense. For most of the season, it was literally Darius Garland and everybody else, and yet they were still able to win 45 games. They were still able to make it to a play-in game, and they were in arm's reach of their first playoff berth in the post-LeBron James era. So looking at it from that standpoint, how can this be a bad move? What does Donovan Mitchell bring to this Cleveland Cavaliers team? Well, the obvious thing to say here is a much-needed scoring punch, and that scoring versatility they've been fiending for over the last season. Pulling out some stats, the Cavs had the 6th worst scoring offense last year. They attempted the 22nd most threes per game and had a 3-point efficiency that was in the middle of the pack. Darius Garland was an all-star last year, and he did so while consistently being double-teamed. He did so consistently being trappered, which forced a lot of other guys on the team to create offense for their own selves. So now comes in Donovan Mitchell, who was a leader of an offense last year that was top 10 in the NBA. To be more specific, that Utah Jazz team had the 7th best offense in the league and was one of the best 3-point shooting teams as well. Like I said, he was a 26 point per game scorer and made 232 threes last year. Just think about that, 232 threes would have been the franchise record for threes made in a season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And might I add, Donovan Mitchell made almost 30 more threes than J.R. Smith did in 2016 when he broke the record. And Donovan Mitchell did so in 10 less games. The type of shooting pedigree that he adds, the pull-up game, the slashing ability, is exactly what the Cleveland Cavaliers need. And I believe him and Darius Garland will play off each other extremely well. Donovan Mitchell will be the best offensive player that Darius Garland has ever played with. And the same can be said for Darius Garland to Donovan Mitchell. Just think about how the offense will be. You can't trap Garland anymore, which could help his scoring. It can help his efficiency. For Donovan Mitchell, his drive and kick game is there. Just imagine Donovan Mitchell setting up the offense, and you have Darius Garland running off down screens. He's running off flare screens. He's moving all over the court off ball. Imagine Darius Garland setting up the offense, and you have Donovan Mitchell running off flare screens. Donovan Mitchell slashing to the rim, cutting, and waiting for Darius Garland's playmaking ability to find him in those tight windows. This is a crazy offensive-minded backcourt. 2 extremely shifty guards that can shoot lights out. I mean, when was the last time we've seen a backcourt of this caliber offensively? Now, of course, everything isn't sunshine and rainbows. We have to talk about the defensive end of the side, and people talk about how this small backcourt might not work because of that, but let's be honest here. If there was a team that I feel like could combat that, it's definitely the Cleveland Cavaliers. We saw how great of a defense the Cavs had last year because of their 2 7-footers down low in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And like the Jazz consistently had a top defense with Mike Conley at the point guard and Donovan Mitchell as shooting guard, it was because of Rudy Gobert. Now, Jared Allen isn't a Rudy Gobert in the interior, but he's still a very good rim protector. And not to mention, Evan Mobley is one of, if not the best weak side defender in the NBA at just 21 years old. Not only are they incredible rim protectors, but they can both play in space. Jared Allen has got some post touch. He can step out and hit the mid-range shot. We know that to be Evan Mobley's game as well, the post-up game and the mid-range shot. So I think it'll be much better in Cleveland than it has been in Utah. I haven't even touched on 21-year-old Isaac Okoro. What about Lamar Stevens and Dean Wade, who are sneaky defenders that a lot of people in the NBA don't know about? And you think about what it costed the Cleveland Cavaliers. Colin Sexton and Donovan Mitchell are similar in play, but of course Donovan is the better player. And Colin Sexton only played 11 games last year, and the Cavaliers were still able to have their most successful season in the post-LeBron James era. Ochai Agbaji hasn't even played a game for them yet, and I feel like the biggest loss will be Lauri Markkanen because of his three-point shooting, the defense he was able to provide. I just felt like Lauri broke out of his shell, but I feel like that loss is negated by the addition of Donovan Mitchell. The Cavs got off great. The Jazz got off great. The Knicks didn't. But this is still a great trade for both parties. And yet, there's still a ton of questions to ask. How successful will they be? Will the Cavs be able to contend with the likes of Boston, with the likes of Milwaukee, with the likes of Brooklyn, Philadelphia? How will they be able to regain that depth that they lost in this move? Are more moves in store? Will they look to sign some free agents? How about the likes of Caris LeVert and Kevin Love, who will be free agents at the end of this upcoming season? Are they going to look to bring them back? Will they trade them mid-season? Or will they just let them walk? Who knows the answers to any of these questions? But that's the luxury of this trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers, is that they have time. They have time to replace the play of Kevin Love and Caris LeVert. They have time to set up their team and compete later on down the line when these Milwaukee teams, when these Boston teams, well, maybe not Boston, because those guys are young too, but Brooklyn and Philadelphia, when they get old, they have time to continue to tweak the roster and add depth pieces here, add depth pieces there. Because when you look at the age of these guys, Darius Garland is just 22 years old. Evan Mobley is just 21 years old. Isaac Okoro is just 21 years old. Jared Allen is 24 years old and just had the best season of his career. And at the time I'm recording this, Donovan Mitchell has just turned 26 years old. If I had to give my early prediction, I feel like the small backcourt will work, as we've seen Colin Sexton and Darius Garland work at times in the past. This is a supersized version of that, and I see this team winning 50 or so games. You have to think, this team is young, and they're going to be hungry and fighting. I don't expect too many load management situations like we see with teams like Milwaukee, or Brooklyn, or Philadelphia. The Cleveland Cavaliers, once an underdog, is a team now with a target on their back. And I believe that they're ready for that challenge.